Conversations with an Alien God, Book 3, Chapter 1 and 2. It is Easter Sunday, 1994. I'm here, pen in hand, as instructed. I'm waiting for God, His promise to show up, as she has the past 2 Easters, to begin another year-long conversation, the third and last for now. This process, this extraordinary communication began in 1992. It will be complete on Easter 1995. 3 years, 3 books. The first dealt with largely personal matters, romantic relationships, finding one's right work, dealing with the powerful energies of money, love, sex, and God, and how to integrate them into our daily lives. The second expanded on 2 stems, moving outward to major geopolitical considerations, the nature of governments, creating a world without war, the basis for a unified international society, or UIS. This third and final part of the trilogy will focus, I'm told, on the largest questions facing men, concepts dealing with other realms, other dimensions, and how the whole integrate weave fits together. The progression has begun. Individual truths, global truths, universal truths. As with the first 2 manuscripts, I have no idea where this is going. The process is simple. I put pen to paper, ask a question, and I see what thoughts come to my mind. If nothing is there, if no words are given to me, I put everything away until another day. The whole process took about a year for the first book, over a year for the second. That book is still in process as this is begun. I expect this will be the most important book of all. For the first time since starting this process, I'm feeling very self-conscious about it. 2 months have passed since I wrote those first 4 or 5 paragraphs. 2 months since Easter, and nothing has come. Nothing but self-consciousness. I have spent weeks reviewing and correcting errors in the typeset manuscript of the first book in this trilogy, and just this week received the final corrected version of book 1, only to have to send it back to typesetting again with 43 separate errors to correct. The second book, meanwhile, still in handwritten form, was completed on last week, 2 months behind schedule. It was supposed to be done by Easter 94. Yet for the first time since 1992, when this is all began, I seem to be resisting this process, if not almost resenting it. I'm feeling trapped by the assignment, and I have never liked it to do anything I have to do. Father, having distributed to a few people uncorrected copies of the first manuscript and heard their reactions to it, I'm now convinced that all three of these books will be widely read, truly examined, analyzed for theological relevancy, and passionately debated for dozens of years. That has made it very difficult to come to this page, very difficult to consider this pen, my friend. For while I know this material must be brought through, I know that I am opening myself up to the most scurrilous attacks, the ridicule, and perhaps even the hatred of many people for daring to put forth this information, much less for daring to announce that it is coming to me directly from God, an alien God. I think my greatest fear is that I will prove to be an inadequate, inappropriate spoken person for God, given the seemingly endless series of mistakes and misdeeds which have marked my life and characterized my behavior. Well, the aliens also not perfect, so relax, okay? Because the aliens also have screwed and a lot. Those who have known me from my past, including former wives and my own children, would have every right to step forward and denounce these writings based on my lackluster performance as a human being and the simple rudimentary functions of a husband and father. I have failed miserably at this, and you are not alone, so don't worry, you are not alone in that. And at other aspects of life, having to do with friendship and integrity, industry, and responsibility. I am, in short, keenly aware that I am not worthy to represent myself as a man of God or a messenger of truth. I should be the last person to assume such a role or to even presume to. I do an injustice to the truth by presuming to speak it, when my whole life has been a testimony to my weaknesses. It's okay, we are here not to be perfect anyway. For these reasons, God, I ask that you relieve me of my duties as your scribe, and that you find someone whose life renders them worthy of such an honor. I should like to finish what we started here, though you are under no obligation to do so. You have no duties to me or to anyone else, though I see that your thought that you do has lead you to much guilt. I have let people down, including my own children. It's okay, don't worry, because if you are a good dad or mama, they will never recognize that, so don't worry. As a father, don't worry, or as a mother. Everything that has happened in your life has happened perfectly in order for you and all the souls involved with you to grow in exactly the way you have needed and wanted to grow. Besides that, who caused this all to happen? Your configuration that was given by aliens. So why are you blaming yourself alone? You shouldn't. That's the perfect out constructed by everyone in the new age who wishes to escape responsibility for their actions and avoid any unpleasant outcomes. I feel that I've been selfish, incredibly selfish, most of my life doing what pleases me regardless of its impact or not. Hold on. You are a male and you are driven by testosterone. So what you expect from these beings that are driven by testosterone? Anyway, in the human, the female who has also a high level of testosterone themselves, what do you expect? This kind of behavior. So be light on yourself. Be easy on yourself. There's nothing wrong in doing what pleases you. But so many people have been hurt, let down. There is only the question of what pleases you most. That one, the Luciferian would say, Luciferians. I'm sorry, guys, but I have to remove the cat out of the bag. You seem to be saying that what now pleases you most are behaviors which do little or no damage to others. That's putting it mildly. On purpose, you must learn to be gentle with yourself and stop judging yourself. That's hard, particularly when others are so ready to judge. I feel I'm going to be an embarrassment to you, to the truth. That if I insist on completing and publishing this trilogy, I will be such a poor ambassador for your message as to discredit it. You cannot discredit the truth. Truth is truth. It can neither be proven nor disproven. Correct. It is also all objective. It simply is. The wonder and the beauty of my message cannot and will not be affected by what people think of you. Indeed, you are one of the best ambassadors because you have lived your life in a way that you call less than perfect. People can relate to you as they judge you. And if they see that you are truly sincere, they can even forgive you your sordid past. Yet, I tell you this, so long as you are still worried about what others think of you, you are owned by them. And I hate this. I don't want to be owned by nobody. I just don't care what people think about me. I know who I am. I know what I do. Only when you require no approval from outside yourself can you own yourself. Only when you require no approval from outside yourself can you own yourself. Only then can you own yourself. What kind of English is that? Only then you can own yourself. My concern was more for the message than for me. I was concerned that the message would get besmirched or besmirched, something like this, besmirched or besmirched. If you are concerned about the message, then get the message out. Do not worry about besmirching it. The message will speak for itself. Remember what I have taught you. It's not nearly so important how well a message is received as how well it is sent. Remember this also. You teach what you have to learn. Correct. It's not necessary to have achieved perfection to speak of perfection. It's not necessary to have achieved mastery to speak of mastery. It's not necessary to have achieved the highest level of evolution to speak of the highest level of evolution. Seek only to be genuine yourself. Strive to be sincere. If you wish to undo all the damage you imagine yourself to have done, demonstrate that in your action. Do what you can do. Then let it rest. That's easier said than done. Sometimes I feel so guilty. Guilt and fear are the only enemies of a man. Guilt is important. It tells us when we have done wrong. There is no such thing as wrong. There is only that which does not serve you, does not speak the truth about who you are. But some people just want to be crook, what? So that's what they are. They have become, and who you choose to be. Guilt is the feeling that keeps you stuck in who you are not. But guilt is the feeling that at least lets us notice we have gone astray. Worriness is what you are talking about, not guilt. I tell you this, guilt is a blight upon the land, the poison that kills the plant. You will not grow through guilt, but only shrivel and die. Worriness is what you seek, but worriness is not guilt, and love is not fear. Fear and guilt, I say again, are your only enemies. Love and warnings and awareness are your true friends. Yet do not confuse the one with the other, for one will kill you, while the other gives you life. Then I should not feel guilty about anything? Never, ever. What good is there in that? It only allows you to not love yourself, and that kills any chance that you could love another. And I should fear nothing? Fear and caution are two different things. Be cautious, be conscious, but do not be fearful. For fear only paralyzes, while consciousness mobilizes. Be mobilized, not paralyzed. Bravo, beautiful, whoever you are. I was always taught to fear God. I know. And you have been paralyzed in your relationships with me ever since. It was only when you stopped fearing me that you could create any kind of meaningful relationship with me. If I could give you any gift, any special grace that would allow you to find me, it would be fearlessness. That's me. Good. I love courage. Be a fearless. Blessed are the fearless, so I am blessed. But they shall know God, for they shall know God. Blessed are the fearless, for they shall know God. That means you must be fearless enough to drop what you think you know about God. You must be fearless enough to step away from what others have told you about God. Exactly. You must be so fearless that you can dare to enter into your own experience of God. Correct? And then you must not feel guilt about it. When your own experience is violating what you thought you knew and what everyone else has told you about God, you must not feel guilt. Fear and guilt are the only enemies of a man. Yet there are those who say that to do as you suggest is trafficking with the devil. That only the devil would suggest such a thing. There is no devil. The devil would have said that. For some as human, we would say, oh, the devil would say that there's no devil. And there's some dogmas out there, the spirituality, who says, oh, there's no devil, there's no hell, etc. What's that? Hey, somebody's calling me. See who is the devil? That's something else the devil would say. That's true. that there's no hell, there's no devil. This is what the devil advocate, the spiritualist, so-called, would say. Not that I'm a religionist either, but Well, everything in this world is possible. There is no devil, okay? There's no hell, but there's something alike that maybe um, will happen to some people after we die. And there are creatures that look like devil. That's true. You cannot escape from this truth. The devil will say everything that God says. Is that it? Why not? Why not? The devil himself has taught people astronomy, what else? Physics, how to plant, how to grow agriculture. The devil has taught people that. They come here as a master too, and then they will teach people. If you see Solomon devils, I don't know what he deals with demons, isn't it? And many of them came to pass on knowledge, and they do that. They can do. They are Luciferian. I'll call them. They are Luciferian, whose chief is Enki. Okay, is Enki. They are Luciferian, but should we, I mean, think that they are very, very evil? No, there's a part of them that's okay. They're okay. Okay, but well, a devil has to do what a devil has to do. But not that everything, doesn't mean that everything they do is okay, is lawful or nice. But still, um, like a human do what they have to do. And if they follow these negative forces, then you have a fair share in your choices, because you choose that. You choose to give them wings to fly. You choose to give them the chance to invade your aura and make you do stupid things like rapes, killing people, cheating on people, etc. Be stupid, be rude to your mother and your father, and be evil to your young children. So that's it. And make the man kill the mother of his children. Yes, they do, but you have a fair share in this action because you have chosen to follow these Luciferians. So the devil would say everything that God says, that's it. Only more cleverly. The guy said, only more cleverly. This is aliens dealing with humans, and you know that sometimes humans can be very smart, and you cannot cheat on them. The devil is more clever than God. Hey, come on, man! I don't think there is some such thing as a God. There are aliens, God, who else can be a devil. Okay, just tell the truth. You say so much about truth, but for you, truth may be subjective to what you think is truth and objective to others. The devil is more clever than God. Let's say more cunning. Yeah, that's true, cunning. That's true. That's very true. And there's no such thing as a God. God is the atoms. And so the devil connives by saying what God would say. Why not? To be convinced, to convince other people and not cheat on them. If it's just a little twist, it's just enough to get one off the path, to lead one astray. I think we have to have a little talk about the devil. Well, we talked a lot about this in book 1. A lot enough, apparently. There may be Jews who haven't read book 1 or book 2 for that matter. So I think a good place for us to begin would be to summarize some of the truths found in those books that will set the stage for the larger universal truths in this third book. And I will get to the devil again too, early on. I want you to know how and why such an entity was invented. Okay, alright, you win. I'm already into the dialogue, so apparently it's going to continue. But there is one thing people should know as I enter this third conversation. Half a year has passed since I wrote the first words presented here. It's now November 25, 1994, the day after Thanksgiving. It's taken 25 weeks to get this far. 25 weeks since your last word above to my words in this paragraph. Well, devils also get busy, aliens also get busy. You think what, they don't work or what? A lot has happened in those 25 weeks. But one thing that has not yet happened is that this book has not moved 1 inch forward. Why is this taking so long? Do you see how you can block yourself? Do you see how you can sabotage yourself? Do you see how you can stop yourself in your tracks just when you are on to something good? You've been doing this all your life. It's like this, from what I understand here. Okay. The guy start off this conversation with these beings, beings in plural, doesn't matter. So what happens here is the following. This guy, Neil Donald, start to have doubts and start to question himself whether he was doing the right thing by continuing on this conversation, because he was too afraid about what others would think of them, especially the so-called religious people. And so what happened? The aliens, they are highly psychic beings, very highly psychic, and then they felt his aura, his magnetic field. They felt it and they knew what's going on, so they stopped communicating with him, so that when he come to ask and question, he would say just what he say here, that he himself had blocked himself and sabotaged himself with his own very negative thoughts. Okay, that's what happened here. Hey, wait a minute, I am not the one who has been stalling on this project. I can't do anything, can't write a single word unless I feel moved to, unless I feel, I hate to use the word, but I guess I have to inspired to come inspired. I have to be inspired to come to this yellow legal pad and continue. And inspiration is your department, not mine. I see. So you think I've been stalling, not you. Something like that, yes. My wonderful friend, this is so much like you and other humans. You sit on your hands for half a year, doing nothing about your highest good, actually pushing it from you. Then blaming someone or something outside of yourself for you not getting anywhere. Correct again. Do you not see a pattern here? Well, I tell you this. There is never time when I'm not with you. Never a moment when I'm not ready. Have I not told you this before? Well, yes, but I'm always with you, even unto the end of time. Yet I will not impose my will on you ever. I choose your highest good for you, but above that, I choose your will for you. That's sweet. And this is the surest measure of love. That's correct. When I want for you what you want for you, then I truly love you. That's correct. When I want for you what I want for you, then I'm loving me through you. Correct. Bravo again. So too, by the same measure can you determine whether others love you and whether you truly love others. Correct. That's why I give freedom. Freedom is a sign of love. That's how my mother taught me, and I taught my 4 children and 1 granddaughter. For love chooses not for itself, but only seeks to make possible the choices of the beloved the other. That seems to directly contradict what you put in Book 1 about love being not at all concerned with what the other is being, doing, and having, but only with what the self is being, doing, and have. I think you don't understand. It's all depends. It's all relative to in what stage of consciousness you are. It brings up other questions as well, like what of the parent who shouts at the child, "Get out of the street!" Or better yet, risks his own life to run out into swirling traffic and I snatch the child up. What of that parent? Is she not loving her child? She has imposed her own will. It must depend. You must see the level. Now you are mixed up. Your child, when young, they don't have consciousness. You are their guide. And your responsibility to be there under their back and call. You see? You are supposed to be the protector of your child. Like I was a mother hen or a mother cat. I wouldn't stay away from my kids and my eyes was faster than their hands. Remember, the child was in the street because it wanted to be. How do you explain this contradiction? Because it's a young child, is different, so they need guidances. But when this child grows up, it's different. They think that they are the master of their own lives. And now I'm talking about teenagers. Teenagers is on the crossroad, they're on the middle, so they don't know. You see, teenagers need a balance between freedom from the parents and the guardian and some guidances as well. How you cannot let them on their drive or control too much. It won't work. There is no contradiction, yet you cannot see the harmony, and you will not understand this divine doctrine about love until you understand that my highest choice for me is the same as your highest choice for you. And that is because you and I are one. You see, the divine doctrine is also a divine dichotomy or dichotomy, and that's because life itself is a dichotomy or dichotomy, an experience within which two apparently contradictory truths can exist in the same space at the same time. We must allow our children to play, but on the sea sand where they are safe. Don't go to the water, of course. Don't climb about, must always be watchful. But once they grow up, it's different. Let go they are prone. Cut the umbilical cord. In this case, the apparently contradictory truths are that you and I are separate and you and I are one. The same apparent contradiction appears in the relationship between you and everyone else. I stand by what I said in Book 1. The biggest mistake people make in human relationships is to be concerned for what the other is wanting, being, doing, or having. Correct. Be considered only for the self. Correct. What's the self being, doing, or having? What's the self wanting, needing, choosing? What is the highest choice for the self? I also stand by another statement I made in that book. The highest choice for the self becomes the highest choice for another when the self realizes there is no one else. The mistake, therefore, is not in choosing what is best for you, but rather in not knowing what is best. This stems from now knowing who you really are, much less who you are seeking to be. I don't understand. Well, let me give you an illustration. If you are seeking to win the Indianapolis 500, Driving 150 miles per hour might be what is best for you. If you are seeking to get to the grocery store safely, it might not. You are saying it's all contextual. Yes, all of life is. What is best depends on who you are and who you seek to be. You cannot intelligently choose what is best for you until you intelligently decide who and what you are. Correct. Now I, as God, know what I am seeking to be. I therefore know what is best for me. And what is that? Tell me, what is best for God? This ought to be interesting. What's best for God is what his part, his fraction is being. What is best for me is giving you what you decide is best for you. Because what I'm trying to be is myself expressed. And I'm being this through you. Through eyes and many other splendid things. Are you following this? Yes, believe it or not, I actually am. Good. Now, I'll tell you something you may find difficult to believe. I'm always giving you what is best for you, though I admit that you may not always know it. That's my case. I don't think what I may have right now is the best for me, because not this what I think I need even. Not that I want, but that I need. I don't need that. I really don't need to have stuff like this. Mystery clears up a bit now that you have begun to understand what I'm up to. I'm God. I'm the goddess. I'm the supreme being, the all of everything, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and Omega. I'm the sum and the substance, the question and the answer, the up and the down of it, the left and the right, the here and the now, the before and the after. I'm the light and I'm the darkness that creates the light and makes it possible. I'm the goddess without end and the badness. I am the goodness without end and the badness which makes the goodness good. I'm all of these things, the all of everything, and I cannot experience any part of myself without experiencing all of myself. Got it? And this is what you do not understand about me. You want to make me the one and not the other, the high and not the low, the good and not the bad. Yet, in denying half of me, you deny half of yourself. And in so doing, you can never be who you really are. And what should we be? I mean, you say that you should, the good and the bad. And then when you deny this two part, this bipolarity, then we are denying God and deny ourselves. So we have to be bad. But then when we are bad, we are self-defined as a bad people. And that's what we want to be. Well, for some, yes, the truth will be. You ask a psychopath and you say, yes, that's what I want to be. It feels good. I love to be a psychopath because I feel good. It's like I'm having an orgasm when I'm being bad, you know. And so it's all relative to what you think, to what you want for yourself, to what you want to be. But is that correct? Is there consequences for that? There is. There is. Because here you'll know the trap. Okay? Based on your choices. Don't think that you can do whatever you want. You take the things from this book and then you can go around there, killing, rape, do this and that. Things that's not okay for our world. What's gonna happen? You have to pay for it. This so-called God doesn't care what you do or what you want to become. Because it does not care about results. Rather, it cares for experience. Okay? So, but it's up for us to think better. and to make the highest choice. Okay? Always choose the biggest path, the more ample path than the narrow one. I'm the magnificent everything, and what I am seeking is to know myself experientially. I'm doing this through you and through everything else that exists. And I'm experiencing myself as magnificent through the choices I make. For each choice is self-creative. Each choice is definitive. Each choice represents me. That is, represents me and who I choose to be right now. Yet I cannot choose to be magnificent unless there is something to choose from. Some part of me must be less than magnificent for me to choose the part of me which is magnificent. That means what it tries to say is the following. Without the white, you will not know what's the black, and vice versa. Without the bitter, you will not know what is to be not bitter. Without the sweet, you will not know what's salt, and vice versa. And that's what it tries to say here. Okay? Then between these two, you choose what feels good to do. However, be careful with your choices because there are consequences. There are karma. Karma is real. Each choice represents me, that is, represents me as who I choose to be right now. Yet I cannot choose to be magnificent unless there is something to choose from. Some part of me must be less than magnificent for me to choose the part of me which is magnificent. So too is it with you. It's the same to you. I'm a God in the act of creating myself, and so too are you. This is what your soul longs to do. This is that for which your spirit hungers. Were I to stop you from having what you choose, I would stop myself from having what I choose. For my greatest desire is to experience myself as what I am, and as I carefully and painstakingly explain it in Book 1, I can only do that in the space of what I am not. And so I have carefully created what I am not, in order that I might experience what I am. Que confusion. What a confusion. But I understand what it means. And okay, stop have so I have careful create what I am not. So this being create every broke itself into piece of fractal. Fractal of the atoms. Okay, it breaks into pieces, create this and that, which is not. So as for it to search for that which he is, it is, because it's not a male, neither is a female. These are atoms, prime creator. Yet I'm everything I create, therefore I am, and since what I am not. How can someone be what they are not? Easy. You do it all the time. Just watch your behaviors. Yeah. There is even people acting to be what they are not. If you do it all the time, just watch your behavior. Seek to understand this. There is nothing that I am not. Therefore, I am what I am. And I am what I am not, which is the physical part. You understand? It is not what's the physical body of the atoms, protons, neutrons, etc. However, it is a part which we cannot describe. It's not even the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, the sixth. It's more than that. You see? It's something very flimsy. This is the divine dichotomy. This is the divine mystery which until now only the most sublime minds could understand. I have revealed for you here in a way that more can understand. This was the message of Book 1. And this basic truth you must understand. You must deeply know if you are to understand and know the even more sublime truths to come here in Book 3. You let me now get to one of those more sublime truths, for it's contained in the answer to the second part of your question. I was hoping we were going to get back to that part of my question. How is the parent loving the child if he says or does what is best for the child, even if he has to thwart the child's own will to do it? Or does the parent demonstrate the truest love by letting the child play in traffic? No, that is I would call recklessness. He's also think about himself because he's so careless that he cares only about himself, that he doesn't care about the child who's supposed to be under his tutelage. This is a wonderful question, and it's the question asked by every parent in some form or another since parenting began. The answer is the same for you as a parent as it is for me as God. Well, this is something that you cannot even ask. You should know, as a parent should know, because let your instinct do the talk. Otherwise, you let your child climb on the thing's floor, on the window, and fall to her death, or fall inside a deep swimming pool, or go to the sea as it pleases, and get drowned there. Because because I love that child, that's why I like him or her do what they want. No, I think that it all depends, there's many variants, but the world will see it with another eyes, a judgmental eye, that you are careless, reckless parents or guardians. So what is the answer? Dude, the answer is what your instinct tells you. Don't ask for nothing outside of you. Patience, my son, patience. All good things come to those who wait. Have you never heard of that? I don't know. Yeah, my father was there to say it and I hated it. I can understand that, but do have patience with yourself, especially if your choices are not bringing you what you think you want. Yeah. The answer to the second part of your questions, the question, for example, you say that you want the answer, but you are not choosing it. You know you are not choosing it because you do not experience having it. In truth, you have the answer. And the answer is common sense. Common sense. And I have had it all along. You simply are not choosing it. You are choosing to believe you do not know the answer, and so you do not. Yes, you went over this too in book 1. I have everything I choose to have right now. I don't think so, including a complete understanding of God. Yet I will not experience what I have it until I know that I do. Precisely, if we put it perfectly. But how can I know that I do until I experience that I do? How can I know something I haven't experienced? Wasn't there a great minded who said all knowing is experience? He was wrong. Knowing does not follow experience. It precedes it. And this is how the world has it backwards. Yeah, now we'll talk about intuition here. You have an intuition, then you have the experience. So knowing is an awareness, is a matter of awareness. An experience is putting it into practice, isn't it? So you mean that I have the answer to the second part of my question. I just don't know that I do? Exactly. Yet if I don't know that I do, then I don't. That's the paradox? Yes. I don't get it. Except I do, indeed. So how can I get to this place of knowing that I know something if I don't know that I know? To know that you know, act as if you do. That's how I do. You mentioned something about that in book 1 also. Yes, a good place to start here would be to recap what's gone before in the previous teaching. And you just happen to be asking the right questions, allowing me to summarize in short form at the beginning of this book the information we discussed in prior material in some detail. Now, in book 1, we talked about the be do have paradigm and how most people have it reversed. Most people believe if they have a thing, more time, money, love, whatever, then they can finally do a thing. Write a book, take up a hobby, go on vacation, buy a home. But it's true, it's practical. What? I cannot go on vacation and say, yeah, I want to go on vacation. I have no money. I cannot buy a home when I have no money. Isn't it? It's practical. I cannot do what I want if I have no time. I have to work. Undertake a relationship which will allow them to be a thing, happy, peaceful, content, or in love. In actuality, they are reversing the be do have paradigm. In the universe as it really is, as opposed to how you think it is, having in C does not produce being in C, but the other way around. That means being results in having. In a having does not result in being in C. First, you be the thing called happy, or knowing, or wise, or compassionate, or whatever. Then you start doing things from this place of being Nancy. And as soon as you discover that what you are doing winds up is bringing you the things you have always wanted to have. The way to set this creative process, and that is what this is, the process of creation into motion, is to look at what it is you want to have. Ask yourself what you think you would be if you had that. Then go right straight to being. In this way, you reverse the way you've been using the be do have paradigm. In actuality, set it right and work with rather than against the creative power of the universe. Here is a short way of stating this principle. In life, you do not have to do anything. Oh no, okay, I'm going to lay down here. I'm not going to cook. I'm not going to market, and I'm going to starve to death. If I don't have the money to call in, to dial and call for delivery, for takeout, then take away, then I will starve to death. If I don't wash my clothes, then I will go stay for dirty clothes. If I don't clean my house, it's gonna become a pigsty. You see? The discrepancy here doesn't make any sense. It's all a question of what you are being. This is one of the 3 messages I will touch on again. Yeah, when I do those things, it's because I'm being what? I'm being conscious, I'm being responsible, I'm being hardworking, I'm being cleaning and self-reliant. This is one of the 3 messages I will touch on again at the end of our dialogue. I'll close this book with it. For now, and to illustrate this, think of a person who just knows that if he could only have a little more time, a little more money, or a little more love, he'd be truly happy. And that's true. For many people, it's true. I'm not gonna be a hypocrite here and say that's not true. He does not get the connection between he's not being very happy right now and he's not having the time, money, or love he wants. That's right. On the other hand, the person who is being happy seems to have time to do everything that's really important. All the money that's needed and enough love to last a lifetime. Oh, that's the rubbish. That's rubbish. I'm so sorry. This look like I don't like sweet candy. I don't like sweet candy nonsense. That's bull crap. This law of attraction. Sometimes when we are so happy, yet nothing happens the way we want. But when we start to curse and say stupid things and be negative, then things get moving. Why? He finds he has everything he needs to be happy by being happy to beginning with. Exactly. Deciding ahead of time what you choose to be produced. Be producers. What you choose to be producers, that in your experience. What you choose to produce. To produce in your experience. To be or not to be, that's the question. Precisely. Happiness is a state of mind, and like all states of mind, it reproduces itself in physical form. There is a statement of refrigerator magnet. All states of mind reproduce themselves. Bullshit. Bullclap. How you can be happy to begin with, or be anything you're seeking to be, more prosperous, more instancy, or more loved, if you're not having what you think you need in order to be that? Exactly, that's what I think. Good question. So now I'm impelled here. I'm suffering a bed, maybe have a very terminal disease, and I'm in pain, a great pain, and I'm still like an idiot laughing unless I am under drugs, a lot of morphine or something. Then I will start to laugh like an idiot, having a lot of pain. What's that? Doesn't make any sense. Act as if you are. Then no, if you act, then you are a stupid person. You are some kind of idiot and schizophrenic. This is called schizophrenia, or a deluded person. I have seen this kind of person like that. They are deluded and they imagine things that's not there. They create a world based on fantasies, and it's totally different from his reality. So he tries to escape this reality, and then he creates make-believe fantasies in his own mind, and it's called schizophrenia or something like that. It's another mental disorder. But how can it be happy to be? Act as if you are, and you will draw it to you. What you act as if you are, you become. Not for a long time. One day, the how to say? One day the truth will come out, and then you're gonna fall from the skies, from the clouds, and then you have to have your feet in the ground and face reality. In other words, fake it until you make it. Something like that, yes. Only you can't really be faking. Your actions have to be sincere. Everything you do out of sincerity, or the benefit of the actions is lost. Yeah, but it's one thing to even be sincere and be an idiot and nothing happens. Come on. This is not because I want to reward you. God does not reward and punish, as you know. But natural law requires the body, mind, and spirit to be united in thought, word, and action for the process of creation to work. There are people who are working their ass off. Given the model of the world, they will never get to experience what they want, because it's simply not there. He will have to cross deserts and seas and oceans before he thinks he can get there. So it's all nonsense he has spoken. But natural law requires the body, mind, and spirit to be united, thought, word, and action for the process of creation to work. I tell these people who Tell this to the people who are already born with a cradle made of gold and diamonds. All those rich people who are already born in rich always have something under their back and call daddy and mommy and grandparents to support them. Tell this to them. Don't tell the people who have to work since they were young, huh? To make ends meet. Tell this to the right person. But it does not include everybody in this planet. That's bull crap. Oh my god, you are talking here, alien. You cannot fool your mind if you are insincere. Your mind knows it, and that's that. You have just ended any chance that your mind can help you in the creative process. You can, of course, create without your mind. It's just a great deal more difficult. You can ask your body to do something your mind doesn't believe. And if your body doesn't long enough, your mind will begin to let go of its former thought about that and create a new thought. Once you have a new thought about a thing, you are well on your way to create it as a permanent aspect of your being rather than something you are just acting it out. That's rubbish. I don't believe that. You can, of course, create without your mind. It is just a great deal more difficult. You can ask your body to do something your mind doesn't believe, and if your body does it long enough, your mind will begin to let go of its former thought about that and create a new thought. Once you have a new thought about a thing, you are well on your way to create it as a permanent aspect of your being, rather than something you are just acting it out. This is doing things the hard way, and even in such instances, the action must be sincere. Unlike what you can do with people, you cannot manipulate the universe. So here we have a very delicate balance. The body does something in which the mind does not believe. Yet the mind must add the ingredient of sincerity to the body's action for it to work. Like, any kind of example? I don't get it. I him talk about people who do one bloody, stupid kind of job that they don't like to. Is it? You're not creative for a mind, you're creative just your body. You go just like a zombie. You're not even think what you are doing. You do this stupid kind of job just to pay bills and just to eat. How can the mind add sincerity when it does not believe in what the body is doing? By taking out the selfish element of personal gain. How? The mind may not be able to sincerely agree that the actions of the body can bring you that to which you choose. But the mind seems very clear that God will bring good things through you to another. Therefore, whatever you choose for yourself, give to another. That's rubbish. Why must I give to another when I barely have to myself? That's nonsense. You talk nonsense. Some beings just tell other people to be or do what they are not able to be or doing. Would you say that again, please? Of course, whatever you choose for yourself, give to another. If you choose to be happy, cause another to be happy. First, you need to be happy ourselves. First, we need to have ourselves. For we cannot do or give that which we don't have. Isn't it? Makes sense. If you choose to be prosperous, cause another to prosper. If you choose more love in your life, cause another to have more love in theirs. Do this sincerely, not because you seek personal gain, but because you really want the other person to have. I have been in this game. In the end, I get only curses. I have been in this game sincerely because I pit people, I helped the people, I guided people, I helped them even if money, for nothing. What I get in return, never mind. Don't need to say thank you. But what I get, ungratefulness. For what? Tell you, for what? That's a waste of time and resources. And all the things you give away will come to, oh, bull crap. Bull crap, alien. Bull crap. You are talking bull crap. You are drunk. Why is that so? How does that work? Exactly. Imagine, okay, there's one thing for you. To have a bread, I am even willing to do that. I have a bread or a plate of rice. There's somebody who doesn't have nothing to eat. I share it with them. Okay, take some. take some. Oh, I don't have. Okay, and now but I give to my pets. Okay, that's one thing. But you cannot keep on give that which you don't have to other people who you have nothing to do with you. That's nonsense when you don't have. In order to give, you must have. You cannot give that which you don't have. Makes sense. So how does that work? The very act of you giving something away causes you to experience that you have it to give away. That's nonsense. That's only just a fantasia. This a fantasia, a kind of a mental disease. Okay, I have nothing, then I go that show off to people. Oh, take that. Oh, why you are giving me that? Oh, because I have a lot. But in reality, you don't have. You understand? That's because you are being an idiot, or you are being a clown, or you are being an idiot. Then you act this way. Since you cannot give to another something you do not now have, of course, your mind comes to a new conclusion, a new thought about you, namely that you must have this or you could not be given it away. Exactly. Makes sense. This new thought then becomes your experience. You start being that, and once you start being a thing, you have engaged in the gears of the most powerful creation machine in the universe, your divine self. Whatever you are being, you are creating. The circle is complete. I have been all everything that you can imagine, but doesn't work this way. The circle is complete, and you will be creating more and more of that in your life. It will be made manifest in your physical experience. That's bullshit. That's nonsense. Lie. This is the greatest secret of life. It's what book 1 and book 2 were written to tell you. It was all there in far great detail. Explain to me, please, why sincerity is so important and give to another what you choose for yourself. If you give to another as a contrivancy, a manipulation meant to get something to come to you, that's not me. Your mind knows this. You have just give it a sign that you do not now have this. And since the universe is nothing but a big copy machine, reproducing your thoughts in physical form, that will be your experience. That is, you will continue to experience not having it, no matter what you do. Furthermore, that will be the experience of the person to whom you are trying to give it. They will see that you are merely seeking to get something. That's not me. It's not necessarily not true, man. This is a kind of psychological mind game here. It's a mind game. That's not true. That you have nothing real to offer. You are giving. In your giving will be an empathy gesture, seen for all the self-serving shallowness from which it springs. That's nonsense. The very thing you sought to attract, you will thus push away. Yet, when you give something to another, purity of your heart, because you see that they want it, need it, and should have. I have done it, and I don't. I regret a bit, and at the same time I don't regret, because I don't have loose and nothing. The other people have loose. Then you will discover that you have it to give, and that's a grand discovery. This is true. It really works this way. I can remember once when things were not going so well in my life, holding my head and thinking that I had no more money and a very little food, and that I didn't know when I was going to eat my next square meal or how I could pay my rent. That very evening, I met a young couple at the bus station. I had gone down to pick up a package, and there these kids were, huddled on a bench, using their coats for a blanket. I saw them, and my heart went out to them. You are a nice man. I remember when I was young, how it was when we were kids, just skimming by, don't move like that. I walked over to them and asked them if they would like to come over to my place and sit by a hot fire, have a little hot chocolate, maybe open up the day bed and get a good night's rest. They looked up at me with eyes wild, like children on Christmas morning. Well, we got to the house and I made them a meal. We all ate better than that night. Enough ice had for a quite while. The food had always been there. The refrigerator was loaded. I just had to reach back and grab all the stuff I had shoved back there. I made in everything in the fridge, stir fry, and it was terrific. I remember thinking, where did all this food come from? The next morning, I even gave the kids breakfast and sent them on their way. I reached into my pocket and I dropped them off back at the bus station and gave them a $20 bill. Maybe this will help, I said, give them a hug and sent them on their way. I felt bad about my own situation all day. Heck, all week, and that experience which I have never forgotten produced a profound change in my whole look and my understanding about life. Things got better from there, and as I look at myself in the mirror this morning, I noticed something very important. I am still here. That's one thing you have, that's one thing. But you cannot just act and get the things you want. There's no sense. Either you have or don't. You don't have to act in a way. You don't have to be in order to have, or vice versa. That's a beautiful story, and you are right. That's exactly how it works. So when you want something, give it away. You'll then no longer be wanting it. Now I understand, but there's a time when there's nobody that you can give to. You will immediately experience having it from there on. It's only a question of degree. Psychologically, you'll find it much easier to add unto than to create out of thin air. Yeah, that's good when you live with poor people around, but when you don't, there's no poor people, homeless people, then how to give what? I feel I have just had something very profound here. Can you relate this now to the second part of my question? Is there a connection? What I'm proposing, you see, is that you already have the answer to that question. Right now, you are living the thought that you do not have the answer, that if you had the answer, you would have wisdom. So you come to me for wisdom. Yet I say to you, be wisdom, and you will have it. And what's the fastest way to be wisdom? Cause another to be wise. Do you choose to have the answer to this question? Give the answer to another. So now I'll ask you the question. I'll pretend that I don't know, and you give me the answer. How can the parent who pulls a child out of traffic be truly loving the child if love means that you want for the other what they want for themselves? Because they do this because they love the child. This very act that brings them to take the child from danger, away from danger. I don't know. I know you don't, but if you thought you did, what would your answer be? Well, I'd say that the parents did want for the child what the child wanted, which was to stay alive. I would say that the child did not want to die, but simply did not know, to know that wandering around in traffic could cause that. So that in running out there to get the child, the parents wanted to deprive the child of the opportunity to exercise his will at all, but simply getting in touch with the child's true choice or his a conscious mind, not his subconscious, but his conscious mind, his deepest desire. That would be a very good answer. If that's true, then you as God should be doing nothing but stopping us from hurting ourselves, for it can be our deepest desire to do damage to ourselves. Yet we do damage to ourselves all the time, and you just sit around and watch us. I'm always in touch with your deepest desire, and always I give you that. Even when you do something that would cause you to die. If that's your deepest desire, that's what you get. The experience of dying. I never have interfered with your deepest desire. Do you mean that when we do the image to ourselves, that is what we wanted to do? I don't think so. That's our deepest desire. No, 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 no. Not on the conscious level, but on the subconscious level, yes. You cannot do damage to yourselves. You are incapable of being damaged. Not we, but the body does, and the mind too. Damage is a subjective reaction, not an objective phenomenon. You can choose to experience damage to yourself out of your encounter of phenomenon, but that's entirely your decision. Given that truth, the answer to your question is yes. When you have damaged yourself, it's because you wanted to. But I'm speaking on a very high esoteric level. And that is not really where your question is coming from. In the sense that you mean it as a matter of conscious choice. I would say that no, every time you do something that damages yourself, it's not because you wanted to. The child who gets hit by a car because he wandered into the street did not want, desire, seek, consciously choose to get hit by a car. Exactly. So the people, the adult is there to protect them, somebody older than them, because they don't know what they are doing. The man who keeps marrying the same kind of woman, and the woman who keeps on marrying the same kind of man as well, not my case, because I never married twice, never will. One who is all wrong for him, packaged in different forms, does not want, desire, seek, consciously choose to keep creating bad marriages. The person who hits a thumb with a hammer could not be said to have wanted the experience. It was not desired, sought, consciously chosen. Yet all objective phenomena is drawn to your subconsciously. All events are created by your unconsciously. If every person, place, or thing in your life was drawn to you by you, one self-created, if you will, to provide you with the exact and perfect conditions, the perfect opportunity to experience what you next wish to experience as you go about the business of evolving. Nothing can happen, I say to you. Nothing can occur in your life which is not a precisely perfect opportunity for you to heal something. Yeah, but not when this something happen a lifetime. Huh? If it happen 1 month, maybe 1 year, the most is okay. When it happen for decade, centuries, then it's what? It's a curse or what? um, the perfect opportunity to experience what you next do experience as you go about business of evolve. Nothing can happen, I say to you, nothing can occur in your life which is not a precisely perfect opportunity for you to heal something. Yeah, but this heal what? The person is so leprous that she have to stay forever in this damn situation and kind of condition or whatever experience you have is not good, pleasant for you. Doesn't make any sense. God, opportunity for you to heal something, create something, or experience something that you wish to heal, create or experience in order to be who you really are. That's rubbish. I can be better than I am right now if only I didn't have the experience that I'm having right now. Not right now. I say now is the past, present, and the future will be tomorrow. The same nonsense every time. And who really am I? Whomever you choose to be. But you don't want to be that. Why you force us to be something we are not? We don't want to have this game, so why you force us? Instead just, oh, it's for heal something. Heal what, man? Heal maybe 1 day, 3 days, okay, but a lifetime, this is abuse. Whoever chooses to be whatever aspect of divinity you wish to be, that's who you are. That can change at any given moment. Indeed, it often does, from moment to moment. Yet, if you want your life to settle down, to stop bringing you such a wide variety of experiences, there's a way to do that. Simply stop changing your mind so often about who you are and who you choose to be. Don't have to be that. That's not true. Though. It doesn't have to be this way. We are not even changing our mind, and it's yet. And because we are not changing our mind, that we are in this situation. And also that they bring beings to um, strain the eyes in one situation. Because when we have a child or you have a pet, take care, you cannot move because you think about that child, that pet, etc. Then they bring that to our life so as to stagnate us, you see, so that we will not move and stay in that same rhythm and song for eternity. You know, when you look at, you are already 80-year-old, 70-year-old, then what? Will they take us from this situation? Will they help? No thanks. They will not help nothing. You are on your own always. That may be easier said than done. Correct, human. I'm now with you. I don't think I'm against the human. Now I'm in favor of the human. Correct, human. And I am fair. I don't like to take sides of nothing. What I see is that you are making these decisions at many different levels. The child who decides to go out into the street to play in traffic is not making a choice to die. She may be making a number of other choices, but dying is not one of them. The mother knows that. The problem here is not that the child has chosen to die, but that the child has made choices that could lead to more than one outcome, including her dying. That fact is not clear to her, is unknown to her, is the missing data which stops the child from making a clear choice, a better choice. Yeah, and then that's why someone must come and help that child, simple as that, isn't it? To let her die, is it? So you see, you have analyzed it perfectly. Now, I, as God, will never interfere with your choices, but I will always know what they are. Therefore, you may assume that if a thing happens to you, it's perfect that it is so. For nothing escapes perfection in God's word. Perfect for you, not for us who are individualized or whatsoever. Huh? After all, chilling someone's backside is, for me, is nothing, because I'm nothing that bad to know, to feel. How is it to burn and pain in somebody's eyes? Therefore, you may assume that if things happen to you, it's perfect did God's word. The design of your life, the people, places, and events in it have all been perfectly created by the perfect creator of perfection itself, you. No, you also, you aliens, not eyes alone, you and me, and I would say your in plural, your, in and through you. Now we can work together in this co-creative process, consciously or unconsciously. You can move through life aware or unaware. You can walk your path asleep or awake. I'm always awake, but the problem is not be awake. The problem is having to pass through all this nonsense. You choose. Wait, go back that comment about making decisions at many different levels. You said that if I wanted the life to settle down, I should stop changing my mind about who I am and who I wish to be. When I say that may not be easy, you made the observation that all of us are making our choices at many different levels. Can you elaborate on that? What does that mean? What are the implications? If all you decide is what your soul decided, everything would be very simple. If you listen to the part of you which is pure spirit, all of your decisions would be easy and all the outcomes joyous. That's because the choices of spirit are always the highest choices. Yeah, but maybe not be for the person itself or the entity here in the body. They don't need to be second guessed. They don't need to be analyzed or evaluated. They simply need to be followed, acted on. Yet, you are not only a spirit, you are a true being made up of a body, mind, and spirit. That's both the glory and the wonder of you. For you often make decisions and choices at all three levels simultaneously, and they by no means always coincide. It's not uncommon for your body to want one thing while your mind seeks another. That's true. And your spirit decides yet a third. This can be specifically true of children who are often not yet matured enough to make distinctions between what sounds like fun to the body and what makes sense to the mind, much less what resonates with the soul. So the child wanders into the street. Now, as God, I am aware of all your choices, even those you made subconsciously. I will never interfere with them, but rather just the opposite. It's my job to ensure that your choices are granted. In truth, you grant them to yourself. What I have done is put a system into place that allows you to that. Yeah, but not for a long time. For a long time is not our choice, it's your choice. This system is called the process of creation and is explained in detail in Book 1. When your choices conflict, when body, mind, and spirit are not acting as one, the process of creation works at all levels, producing mixed results. If, on the other hand, your beings in harmony and your choices are unified, astonishing things can occur. Your young people have a phrase, have it all together, which could be used to describe this unified state of being. There are also levels within levels in your decision making. This is particularly true at the level of the mind. Your mind can and does make decisions and choices from one of at least three interior levels: logic, intuition, emotion, and sometimes from all three, producing the potential for even more inner conflict. And within one of those levels, emotions, there are 5 more levels. These are the 5 natural emotions: grief, anger, envy, fear, and love. And within this also there are 2 final levels, love and fear. The 5 natural emotions include love and fear, yet love and fear are the basis of all emotions. The other 3 of the 5 natural emotions are outgrowth of these 2. Ultimately, all thoughts are sponsored by love or fear. This is the great polarity. This is the primal duality. Everything ultimately breaks down to one of these. All thoughts, ideas, concepts, understandings, decisions, choices, and actions are based in one of these. And in the end, there is really only one: love. In truth, love is all there is. Even fear is an outgrowth of love. And when used effectively, expresses love. Fear expresses love. It's the highest form, yeah. Everything expresses love. When the expression is in the highest form, does the parent who saves the child from being killed in traffic express fear or love? Well, both, I suppose. Fear for the child's life and love enough to risk one's own life to save the child. Precisely. And so here we see that fear in its highest form becomes love. It's love expressed as fear. Similarly, moving up the scale of natural emotions, grief, anger, and envy are all some form of fear, which in turn is some form of love. One thing leads to another. Do you see? The problem comes in when any of the 5 natural emotions becomes distorted. Then they become grotesque and not recognizable at all as outgrowths of love, much less as God, which is what absolutely love is. I've heard of the five natural emotions before from my wonderful association with Dr. Elizabeth Kabler-Ross. She taught me about them. Indeed, and it was I who inspired her to teach about this. So I see that when I make choices, much depends on where I'm coming from, and that where I'm coming from could be several layers deep. Yes, that's what is so. Please tell me, I would like to hear again, because I have forgotten much of what Elizabeth taught me, all about the five natural emotions. Grief is a natural emotion. Is that part of you which allows you to say goodbye when you don't want to say goodbye, to express, push out, propel the sadness within you at the experience of any kind of loss. It could be the loss of a loved one or the loss of a contact lens. Contact lens, compared to loved one. When you are allowed to express your grief, you get rid of it. Children who are allowed to be sad when they are sad feel very healthy about sadness when they are adults, and therefore usually move through their sadness very quickly. That was me. I was allowed to be sad, to be angry, etc. And I also give the same to my children. Can throw tantrums, do what I want, paint the seven, also I don't care. Children who are told there, don't cry, have a hard time crying as adult. Then it's worse, it becomes like a bomb, tiny bomb. After all, they have been told all their life not to do that. So they repress their grief. That's dangerous. Grief that's continually repressed becomes chronic depression, a very unnatural emotions. People have killed because of chronic depression. Wars have started. Nations have fallen. Anger is a natural emotion. It's the tool you have which allows you to say, no, thank you. It does not have to be abusive, and it never has to be damaging to another. Well, some people deserve to be damaging. When children are allowed to express their anger, they bring a very healthy attitude about it to their adult years, and therefore usually move through their anger very quickly. Correct. So allow your children to do whatever they want, and keep an eye on them not to get into danger. Children who are made to feel that their anger is not okay, that it's wrong to express it, and in fact that they shouldn't even experience it, will have a difficult time appropriately dealing with their anger as adults. Yeah. Become frustrated, angry, usually angry. Anger that's continually repressed becomes rage, a very unnatural emotion. People have killed because of rage. Wars have started. Nations have fallen. Envy is a natural emotion. It's the emotion that makes a 5-year-old wish he could reach the doorknob the way his sister can, or ride a bike. Envy is the natural emotion that makes you want to do it again, to try harder, to continue strive until you succeed. It's very healthy to be envious, very natural. When children are allowed to express their envy, they bring a very healthy attitude about it to their adult years, and therefore usually move through their envy very quickly. Correct. Children who are made to feel that envy is not okay, that is wrong to express it, and in fact that they shouldn't even experience it, will have a very difficult time appropriately dealing with their envy as adults. Envy that's continually repressed, it becomes jealousy, a very unnatural emotion. People have killed because of jealousy. Look at that. So many women get murdered because of jealousy. Wars have started. Nations have fallen. Fear is a natural emotion. All babies are born with only two fears, the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. All other fears are learned responses brought to the child by its environment, taught to the child by its parents. The purpose of natural fear is to build in a bit of caution. Caution is a tool that helps keep the body alive. It is an outgrowth of love of self. Children who are made to feel that fear is not okay, that is wrong to express it, and in fact that they shouldn't even experience it, will have a difficult time appropriately dealing with their fear as adults. Fear that's continually repressed becomes panic, a very natural emotion. Correct, and you may get it as adult as well when you live with toxic people. People have killed because of panic. Wars have started, nations have fallen. Love is a natural emotion when it is allowed to be expressed and received by a child, normally and naturally, without limitation or condition, inhibition or embarrassment. It does not require anything more, for the joy of love expressed and received in this way is sufficient unto itself. Yet love which has been conditioned, limited, warped by rules and regulations, rituals and restrictions, controlled, manipulated, and withheld becomes unnatural. Children who are made to feel that their natural love is not okay, that it is wrong to express it, and in fact that they shouldn't even experience it, will have a difficult time appropriately dealing with love as adults. Luckily, my mother allowed me to express all this, and I allowed my children in turn to express too. Love that's continually repressed becomes possessiveness, a very unnatural emotion. People have killed because of possessiveness. Wars have started, nations have fallen. And so it is that the natural emotions, when you repress it, produce natural reactions and responses. And most natural emotions are repressed in most people. Yet, these are your friends. These are your gifts. These are your divine tools with which to craft your experience. You are given these tools at birth. They are to help you negotiate life. Why are these emotions repressed in most people? They have been taught to repress them. They have been told to. By whom? By parents, of course, parents. Luckily, my parents wasn't like that. And neither I as a parent. The parents, those who have raised them. Why? Why would they do that? Because they were taught by their parents, and their parents were taught by theirs. Correct. Yes, but why? What's going on? What is going on is that you have the wrong people doing the parenting. Especially so the young ones who's supposed to be being parented. Teenager is not to give birth, not to raise children. They are being raised, for God's sake. And when I got pregnant, when I was a teen, I don't know how I did it. What do you mean? Who are the wrong people? The mother and the father. The mother and the father are the wrong people to raise the children. The mother and the father are the wrong people to raise the children. When the parents are young, yes, in most cases, yes. In fact, it's a miracle that so many of them do as good as a job as they do. Yeah, that's really true. No one is more ill-equipped to raise children than young parents. And no one knows this, by the way, better than young parents. Most parents come to the job of parenting with very little life experience. They are hardly finished being parented themselves. They are still looking for answers, still searching for clues. Exactly. And our children, our kids, I mean, young not to play if we home. It's not for play. They are playing dolls. They are playing with dolls. You know, play home just like when we are young. We play being a mother and a father as a child. We play, we cook and then look after baby. You know, we are playing when we marry and have children. Before 25, then we are doing that. Most parents come to job parent with very little experience. They are hardly finished being parented themselves. They haven't even discovered themselves yet, and they are trying to guide and nurture discovering others, even more vulnerable than they. They haven't even defined themselves, and they are thrust into the act of defining others. They are still trying to get over how badly they have been misdefined by their parents. They haven't even discovered yet who they are, and they are trying to tell you who you are. And the pressure is so great for them to get it right, yet they can't even get their own lives right. So they get the whole thing wrong, their lives and the lives of their children. If they are lucky, the damage to their children won't be too great. The offspring will overcome it, but not probably before passing some on to their offspring. Luckily, my mother had me. I was the last. She had 9 children. I was the last. She had me when I was already 30, 40, I think, 40-year-old. Most of you gain the wisdom, the patience, the patience, the understanding, and the love to be wonderful parents after your parenting years are over. Why is this? I don't understand this. I see that your observations is in many cases correct, but why is this? Because young child makers were never intended to be child raisers. Your child raising years should really begin when they are now over. I'm still a little lost here. Human beings are biologically capable of creating children while they are children themselves, which it may surprise most of you to know. They are for 40 or 50 years. Human beings are children themselves for 40 or 50 years? From a certain perspective, yes, like I'm no more a kid. I know this is difficult to hold as your truth, but look around you. Perhaps the behaviors of your race might help prove my point. The difficulty is that in your society, you are said to be all grown up and are ready for the world at 21. Add to this the fact that many of you were raised by mothers and fathers who were not much older than 21 themselves when they begin raising you, and you can begin to see the problem. If child bearers were meant to be child raisers, child bearing would not have been made possible until you were 50. Correct. But at 50-year-old, we are a bit tired to bear children, look after it. Thanks God, I was still young when they were big adult. Childbearing was meant to be an activity of the young, whose bodies are well developed and strong. Child raising was meant to be an activity of the elders, whose minds are well developed and strong. Now, or some like to beat up their grandchildren. I've seen they are very rude themselves. So I don't quite agree with that. And so are the youngsters. They like to bully the children, abuse them. In your society, you have insisted on making child bearers responsible for child raising, with the result that you have made not only the process of parenting very difficult, but distorted Many of the energy surrounding the sexual act, as well as, could you explain? Yes. Many humans have observed what I have observed here, namely that a good many humans, perhaps most, are not truly capable of raising children, correct? When they are capable of having them, correct? However, having discovered this, humans have put in place exactly the wrong solution. Rather than allow younger humans to enjoy sex, and if it produces children, have the elders raise them. I don't think that the elders should raise their grandchildren. I believe that the youngest one should be careful when having sex and not play of porn, not playing porno at all, and must be take care. Go study better. Go find another way of having fun and not go around and slut around. I don't agree with that. And neither that grandparents who are sick now, sick, old, who should go work or whatever, or stay home and relax, go travel, have to take care of grandchildren. Ah, nonsense. I never allow one single child of mine to be raised by grandparents. No way. I took care of all my children. Why can't my son and daughter do the same? They have to learn the same way as I did. Okay? Because this teach them in the long run how to have wisdom, patience. What else that is required to raise a child? Um, steadiness, steadfastness, patience, love, protection, um, how to say that thing? You be selfless. You become selfless. Like if you have a bread and you instead of you eat, you give to your child and you go hungry. But you give to your child not to go hungry. That's called selfless and not selfish parents. So that's what you learn. Okay, that's what you learn. So as I believe that all sons and daughters must be taught about sex and taught about the risk and the consequences of having irresponsible and unconscious sexual activities. And if that come unwanted pregnancy, diseases, etc. They must be taught not to play with that, because problem is death. Okay, but after you have taught them, and they still say, you are square, you are this and that, I don't care about what this old lady say, So their problem as you as you made your bed, so lay on it. If you bake your cake, eat it. Don't let your mother eat for you. Don't allow your mother to make the bed for you. You do yourself. That's how I've learned, because this happened to me. As a teenager, I was playing already how to have family. As a teen, I didn't need my mother-in-law for nothing. So rather than allow humans to enjoy sex, and if it produces children, have the elders. No, I don't agree. I would not take any more of grandchildren. I already raised one. For what? She moved. She never even said goodbye to me. Even when I say she moved, I don't mean she moved from one district to another, or from one road to another within the same country. No, she moved to another continent, and never even say goodbye to me, she and her mother. After all what I have done, all the good things, selflessly, unconditionally, what you get in return by evil people? Nothing. I give up. That's why I prefer now pets. And not that I prefer, but they come to me what to do, but I just don't go searching or seeking for it. Rather than allow yourself humans to enjoy and produce children, have the children, young humans not to engage in sex until they are ready to take on the responsibility. Have the elders raise them. You tell young humans not to engage in sex until they are ready to take on the responsibility of raising children. Even if they are married, don't marry your children at a young age, barbarians. In the name of religion, that's wrong, man. You think of being smart as a mother and a father? No, you aren't. How many kids are married? My mother-in-law is a Muslim. She was married at the age of 13. 13-year-old. She never got to enjoy life. Okay? She had to become adult from one day to night. You think it's right? No, it's not right. It's abuse. It's abuse against children. And she resent it until now, as she grew older. Now she's 82, very sick. Very, very sick. So humans not to engage in sex until they are ready to take on the responsibility of raising children. You have made it wrong for them to have sexual experiences before that time, and thus have created taboo around what was intended to be the ones of life most joyful celebration. Hey, I guess that you are a voyeur because you are given advice for these idiots to go on and have sex and bringing children because you know that going to result in nothing good. Only an unwanted pregnancy, more one hated child brought into this world, and a beautiful, wonderful, venereal disease. Shall I clap? So I would say no, don't listen to this being. Don't have sex. They want, because every sexual act is a vitamin, a form of vitamin for aliens. They are watching as you having sex, and they are using straw, metaphorically speaking, draining your energies. Good for your face. Who knows it already and continue having sex, these stupid people. You have made it wrong for them to have sexual experience before that time, and those have created a taboo around what was intended to be one of life's most joyful celebrations. Nonsense. For what is a lifelong regret, a lifelong pain, compared with 1 minute of pleasure, 1 hour of pleasure? For what? That's rubbish. Of course, this taboo to which offspring will pay little attention, and for good reason. It's entirely unnatural to obey it. Human beings desire to couple and copulate, and as soon as they feel the inner signal which says they are ready. This is human nature. Yet their thought about their own nature will have more to do with what you as parents have told them than about what they are feeling inside and what they see around them, not just in the house but outside in the environment, in their town, in their road, in their community as a whole. Your children look to you to tell them what life is all about. Not all. Some will not even ask. And when mama want to teach and be friend, you have another generation. I prefer the counseling of my friends who know less than them. So let them to help. I don't care them. Go away, trash. Just want to get married, go marry and leave me alone. Just don't disturb me because I never disturbed my mother. Okay? At age 16, I was on my own. 16. A young girl. So many males outside around. 40-year-old, 50-year-old still living with mama. What a shame. And a 16-year-old girl already have one life of her own. You should look to so when they have the forced urge to pick at each other, to play innocently with each. Oh my God! Since when play with the pee-pee? Huh? Play with the pocket now? Is innocently. Since when? That's nonsense. You are teaching them nonsense, alien. They will look to you for sign about this. It's part of the human nature. Good? Is it bad? Is approved of? Is to be stifled? Held back? Discouraged? Yeah, it is. Sex? Yeah, it is. It is. It's a person who have had people in the family like this and throw their children to grandmother to take care. Knows already how is it. So I would say no. Don't play mommy and daddy game here before time. Go study, trash. Go study, and after that go work. Then later you can think about marrying. Huh? At age 30 plus, go and marry, have your children. Before that, go study, go work, make money. It's obvious, and then play for yourself. Go home, play for yourself. Bring a whatever, play to a toy. Whether you male and female, don't mean become a handyman. Don't go around make children around. Become a handyman. The girls get a dildo, whatever you want. Yes. So, it's observed that what many parents have told their offspring about this part of their human nature that has had its origin in all manners of things. What they were told, what their religion says. Religion, what religion say? Hey, go around funk and go and marry early. Get as much girls you want to destroy their life. Young girls. Religion want to say, go work girl, go start girl. Religion say, go marry girl to destroy your life. Okay, destroy their lives. What religion? What the society thinks, everything except the natural order of things. Only animals follow natural order, aliens. You want to be an animal, then you follow the natural order. Dogs and cats are their mate. If you don't sterilize them, they will be there out in the open having sex. You want a human to be like this? You want a human to behave like this? That's stupid. So, everything except natural order of things. That's not natural. In the natural order of your species, sexuality is bathing at the anywhere from it. No! Don't follow what this alien say here. You go wrong, From age 9 to age 14, from age 15 onward is very much present expressed in most human beings. What the bloody idiot you are! You are not God, you idiot. I know that you are aliens, Luciferians. And a 9-year-old to 14-year-old, thanks goodness you know better. Thanks goodness see most human race knows best not to follow you. 9 to 14-year-old are to be playing with dolls. Do you understand? And not play with peckers and dingling dongs and pockets and frogs, female frogs. Do you understand or not, alien? Bastard. Only stupid women do that, stupid female and stupid male. So little girls who are sent to marry old men. I hate that. And I'm all to fight against all this practice of pedophilia. So pedophilia starts with aliens and regressive aliens and Luciferians. Oh no, it's very much present and expressed in most human beings. To hell, your backside is having all these feelings. Thus begins a race against time, children stampede toward the fullest release of their own joyful sexual energy, and parents stampede to stop. Stop, parents! Stop! Stop! Do that! Don't listen to these Luciferian devils. Stop your children from do this, from destroy themselves. When they grow old, and they will think it's not this MEF who go there and then concealing these people who, as they grow adult and become with a mental problem. When they think about what happened to them, a cursed thing called sex. Sex is shit, man. I hate that. Supposed to remove this shit from human. Human never needed this nonsense in the first place before. This one's created by the devils and key in their no necks. Parents have needed all the assistance and all the alliances they could find in this struggle. Since it has been noted, they are asking their offspring to not do something that's every bit part of their nature. Put chili on the backside there, then they will stop heat. Put chili. Put the what they call California Reaper, something like that, or jalapeno. Put jalapeno. Then she will start to jump around and he also. Then they will stop heat. So adults have invented all manner of familial, cultural, religious, social, and economic pressures, restrictions. Good, go on and do. Restrict and offspring, restriction limitations to justify the natural demands of the offspring. Children have thus grown to accept that their own sexuality is unnatural. And it is. How can anything that is natural be so shamed, so always stopped, so controlled, held at bay, restrained, bridled, and denied? Because it has to be like this, because it's going to destroy the civilians. They grow older. Look around you. Well, I think you are exaggerating a bit here. Don't you think you are exaggerating? And it is, it's Luciferian is. He is. And he's trying to put the human race in perdition. Really? What do you think is the impact on a 4 or 5-year-old child when parents won't even use the correct name for certain of their body parts? And they need to know. And they need to know that this one is that called the PU and another one is a DICK. Do they need to know? They don't need to know. They just know, oh, this one's a little flower, this one is a PP. Okay? Come watch the PP, watch the little flower. Don't need to be so ghastly and vulgar is to tell the name to a child, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old. Please. What are you telling the child about your level of comfort with that? And what you think there should be? Yes, indeed. Oh, and he's very angry when people question him. Really? What do you think is the impact of 4 or 5-year-old judgment span? No, this is not impact at all. They don't care. Give them a lollipop, give them ice cream, a cone ice cream, a toy to play. They are okay if it is over. Well, we just don't use the word as my grandma used to say, just that wee in your bottom sounds better. Yeah, that's correct. These are Luciferian. Only because you have so much negative baggage attached to the actual names of these bad parts that you can barely use the words in ordinary conversation. At the youngest ages, of course, children don't know why parents feel this way. Yeah, they don't have to know. They don't even care. They don't even care. It's you who are put things into their mind. They don't care. It's you all who are put things into their mind. No, why parents feel this way, but many are left with the impression, the often indelible impression that certain bad parts are not okay, and that anything have to do with them is embarrassing, if not wrong. As children grow older and more into their teens, they may come to realize that this is not true, but then they are told in a very clear terms about the connection between pregnancy and sexuality and about how they will have to raise the children they create. There's a long time to go. They can learn this by their 20s and prepare for their 30s when they can have them about how they will have to raise the children they create, and so they now have another reason for feeling that sexual expression is wrong, and it is, and the circle is complete. Yeah, complete. And this nonsense. Don't bring this to the human race. What this has caused in your society is confusion and not a little havoc, which is always the result of fooling around with nature. Oh my God, fooling around with nature. Then when people are fooling around with children, pedophilia or whatever, it's not fooling around with nature. It's the natural order of the day. This is devil will tell That's why those who follows them always go wrong. There's pedophilia going around, um, um, child marriage in the name of culture and religion, and erroneous, erratic religion system, belief systems, etc. You know why now? Look at who you are dealing with, who you are following, who you know as your gods, huh? You have created sexual embarrassment in the present. No, you have, because you are being vulgar, and I think that sexuality need to be expressed even within children. That's terrible. That's shameful. And as soon as you say that zoophilia also is okay and incest, you are the devil. What distance causing the social confusion other have boxes always the result fooling around with nature. You have been fooling around with nature and children. Leave the children alone. Leave the human kids alone and the animals alone. You have created sexual embarrassment, repression, licit be least. So be it. Better than play with nonsense sex and I become impure, and then this is being the suspicion being come to you, you idiots, and they start to follow you around, become dead, your house gonna become haunted, and you're gonna have a lack of luck in your life. Good for you if you follow them. It's always the result of fooling. You have great sexual embarrassment, repression, and shame. It's led to sexual inhibition, dysfunction, and violence. That's nonsense. That's what we don't need. It does not matter. That's not we don't like. It does not matter either. Everybody need to make keep a cut off contract with Luciferians, so that you will not need it anymore. Give it back to the soil of the earth. Go back, go back, go back. All these contracts. Return all sexuality to the soil of Gaia. Amen. So be it. You will, you will, as a society, always be inhibited about that over which you are embarrassed. Always be dysfunctional if behaviors had been repressed, and always act out violently in protest of being made to feel shame about that over which you know in your heart you should never have felt shame at all. Look at around. Look, you follow this counsel and this kind of um, conceal or whatever, or advice, then you go wrong. Watch out, the rate of rapes shoot up. Those here are Luciferian, now I know. Then he thrilled one's on to something when he said that a huge amount of the anger in the human species, thrilled another frustrated old man, might be sexually related, deep-seated rage over having to repress basic natural physical instinct, interests, and urges. More than one of your psychiatrists have ventured as much. The human being is angry because it knows it should feel no shame. No, 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 no. Human being can have the sex they want. You don't give them food, don't give them one place to stay, don't give them the family and comfort of their family. Then they will be angry. It's nothing to do with sex. Even they have the whole sex of the world. Okay? Even they have to hump even the walls every minute, 100 times a day. That anger will only grow and grow and grow. Don't bring me with this crap, because it doesn't work this way. Should feel no shame over something that feels so good for you, and yet it does feel shame and guilt. Yeah, it should be. First, the human becomes angry with the self. That's nonsense. Becoming angry because of with no sex. What a nonsense. This is a nympha. Sexual maniac. Look at some countries. 13-year-old, the woman already have had 5, 10 men at once. It's okay if I prostitute, but should do it for money. It's not prostitution, just your next door girl. next door neighbor or boy or girl. By the age of 15, they already have had hundreds of mates. Shame, isn't it? Feeling so good about something is supposed to feel to be so obviously bad, and it's bad. It's from the devil. It's bad, bad, not good. Then, when they finally realize they have been duped, their sexuality is supposed to be a wonderful honor. Hey, duped. When this is stupid woman, female out there, go after male, then they hump them, use them, make them pregnant, and give a kick in the ass. Then this is called duped, and that's good for them. Sexuality is supposed to be a wonderful, honorable, glorious part of the human experience. They become angry with others, parents for repressing them, religion for shame. No, you are putting aside their mind, their psyches. They don't have to be angry with their parents or their religion or community because of this. They will thank them later on in life, in fact. For pointing it out to them, it is wrong. Religion for shaming them, members of the opposite sex for daring them, the whole society for controlling them. Good society control. As a race of being, of dignified being, human being, yes, you have to watch out for our youngs and advise them against it. Look around you, rapes, pedophilias, unwanted pregnancies. Look around you, zoophilias. Huh? You want more than that? You want a cows in this planet? You want a hell? You don't even have to die to go to hell when you live in a society like that, isn't it? Finally, they become angry. No, you become angry through them. It's you. Because, what the heck? There's no... That thing around. That FEUK. Why? I want to have some kind of vitamin here and energy from those humans. I want humans to mate. Go around and hump, you idiots. Doesn't matter how. With whom. You know, yeah, it's like that. But then, when they finally realize they've been duped, their sexuality is supposed to be a wonderful, honorable. For you, idiot. Glorious part of the human experience. They become angry with others, parents for repressing them. Finally, they become angry themselves, allowing all of this to inhabit them. Much of this repressed anger has been channeled into the construction of distorted and misguided moral values in the society in which you now live. A society which glorifies and honors with monuments, statues, and commemorative stamps, films, pictures, and TV programs, some of the world's ugliest acts of violence. As if sex doesn't come violence, huh? Rapes? Pedophilia is not violence, or what? Nonsense. We can be innocent without sex. We can say no to violence without go around having sex. That's nonsense. That's for the stupid, useless hips of the 60s. Make love, don't make war. But what? Don't make nothing. Let's make a cake. Don't make war. Huh? Let's make a pudding. Don't make war. Let's make ice cream. Don't make war. Let's make chantilly with strawberries. Don't make war. How about that? Let's eat. Don't make war. Then don't go around, hump around. But hides or worse yet, cheapens some of the world's most beautiful acts of love. Oh my God, this is love. You have a very distorted idea of what love could be, man. Love is not lust, and a lust does not loves, and a lust does not lasts. Pelo amor de Deus, for God's sake, né? And all of this has emerged from a single thought, that those who bear children bear also the sole responsibility for it. And that should be, first they should be advised, concealed. They should be guided. But if that's not enough, they don't want to listen, let them swim in their own cup. Let them swim in the juice of their crap. Let they lay down in the bed that they had made and eat the only pie that they have made. That's how I teach them. And how's the way how should it be, because I was like that. I don't need my mother for nothing. I only needed my mother to look after me while I was young. At the age 16, I was on my own. And but if the people have children, aren't responsible for raising them? Who is? The whole community. As if the community now is talk about tribes here. You see the mentality of this being talk about community here from tribe. This is what a Native American and Amerindian talking here. Pelo amor de Deus. For God's sake. The whole community with a special emphasis on the elders. That was before, though. We are talking about villages, small tribe here. We don't talk about a cosmopolitan country, a city, where everybody have no time. Even the elderly has to work to pay the bills. Huh? Have to work. If you don't work, you don't pay the bill. You don't eat. The elders in most advanced races and societies. Yeah, you're talking about tribe, but not we folks in the city. In most advanced races and societies, elders raise the offspring, nurture the offspring, train the offspring, and pass on to the offspring the wisdom, teachings, and traditions of their kind. Later, when we talk about of these advanced civilizations, I'll touch on this again. They'll talk about the tribal people. In society where producing offspring at a young age is not considered wrong, because the tribal elders raise them, and there is therefore no sense of overwhelming responsibility and burdens. Sexual repression is unheard of. Oh, so great! So girls are abused at the tender age of 9-year-old. And so is rape, deviancy, social. Hey, then if a man have sex for, let's say, a 9-year-old, it's not a rape or what? You think that the kid know what she's doing? You think that she has the consciousness and the wisdom to say no to that man at that age? Do you think so, man? This is called statutory rape. For intelligence's sake, it's called statutory rape. If an older man he could be a 16 above, have a sex for 9-year-old, 10-year-old. It's called statutory rape. It's wrong. That girl is not in the mental condition to say no to that idiot. Social dysfunction. Luckily, our judiciary system knows better than the stupid alien who called himself God. God what, man? Sorry, I once play for words. Something I do agree with you. Others I don't. Especially when it comes to sex, I don't agree. You are totally twisted. How to say? Polluted. You are polluted. Others in society on our planet. Yes, although they have been disappearing, you have sought to eradicate them, assimilate them, because you have taught them to be barbarian in what you have called your non-barbarian societies, children and wives and husbands, for that matter, are thought of as property, as personal possessions, and child bearers must therefore become child raisers, because they must take care of what they own. A root thought at the bottom of many of your society's problem is this idea that spouses and children are personal possessions, that they are yours. Yes, and so does in this society, in these tribes, as you said. But what is find funny is the fact that they think that the girls can go around humping, having children, throw for the grandparents to take care, when the grandpa didn't ask them to. And at the same time, he give them a green card to go around and hump the whole tribe. The girl become more cheap than public toilet soap from the road express where the trucks driver moving stop by to have their lunch and take a bath. You know that public toilet soap. The girl become like that. They are more moved than the tires and the of the trucks and the expressway. So a root thought at the bottom of many of your society's problems is this idea that spouses and children are personal possession. And who asked them to think this way? Why the women are so stupid? They don't know how to say no, is it? Huh? This happen if it's stupid human. They supposed to have a say intelligent human. This doesn't happen because they know how to sing louder at home. I sing louder than the rooster. Hen must sing louder sometimes. So we'll examine this whole that they are yours. We'll examine this whole subject of ownership later when explore and discuss life among highly evolved beings. Oh my God. But for now, just think about this for a minute. You are so highly evolved that you talk about rape and stuff here, pedophilia, huh? For a minute. Is anyone really emotionally ready to raise children at the time they are physically ready to have them? The truth is, most humans are not equipped to raise children, even their 30s and 40s. I have them before my 20 years of age. And I took care of all of them and one granddaughter without nobody to help me in whatsoever. Okay, no maids, no older sister, no mom, no sister-in-laws, no stepmother, no, sister, I mean mother-in-law, nobody. The truth is, most humans not equipped to raise children in their 30s and 40s and shouldn't be expected to be. They really haven't lived enough as adults to pass deep wisdom to their children. They don't want to listen. What to do? Even, okay, the truth is most humans are not equipped to raise children, even their 30s and 40s. That's I agree, but it's exception. There's exception, and I was one of them. Okay? As a kid, I myself raised children. I've had that thought before. Mark Twain had a take on this. He once said to have commented, "When I was 19, my father knew nothing, but when I was 35, I was amazed at how much the old man had learned." He captured it perfectly. Your younger years were never meant to be for truth teaching, but for truth gathering. How can you teach children a truth you haven't yet gathered? You can't, of course, so you'll end up telling them the only truth you know, the truth of others. Your fathers, your mothers, your cultures, your religion. And what's wrong with that? It's a truth, nevertheless. Anything, everything but your own truth. You are still searching for that. And you will be searching, experimenting, and finding, failing, and forming, and reforming your truth, your idea about yourself, until you are half a century on this planet. Or near to it. I mean, over half a century. Then you may begin at last to settle down and settle in with your truth. That's why I'm so wise that I debunk what you say here. And probably the biggest truth on which you will agree is that there is no constant truth at all. The truth, like life itself, is a changing thing, a growing thing, an evolving thing. That just when you think that process of evolution has stopped, it has not, but only really just begun. I don't agree with that. You know why? Because we need to follow our feelings, our instinct, and not the Jonases or the time or timeline or evolution. We don't need to follow that which we see is wrong. I'm so sorry, okay? I don't want to make part of this team. Yes, I've already come to that. I'm past 50 and I have arrived at that. Good, you are now a wiser man, an elder. Now you should raise children. Ah, I want to give up. I want to now to raise pets and plants. I want to rest. Or better yet, 10 years from now, it's the elder who should raise the offspring. And who were intended to. It's the elder who know of truth and life, of what is important and what is not, of what is really meant by such terms as integrity, honesty, loyalty, friendship, and love. What integrity? Is it going around humping is integrity? What's the integrity of going around humping? I see the point you have been making here. It's difficult to accept, but many of us have barely moved from child to student. When you have children of our own and feel we have to start teaching them, so we figure, well, I will teach them what my parents taught me. Yeah, that's what I did. Thus the sins of the father visited upon the son, even unto the 70th generation. What sin? What's wrong? What's wrong? And tell what our parents teach us, all the proverbs, all the metaphors, all the fun stuff. What's wrong in that? What sin is that? Sins go around humping, man. Shameless. How can we change that? How can you decide? Don't have to, idiot. Place the raise of children in the hands of your respected old ones. Parents see the children whenever they wish. Ah, bullshit. You think these older people going to give? No way, man. Live with them they choose, but are not solely responsible for their care and upbringing. The worst thing is we want to bring up a child in a way, and the other people, the community want another way. Yeah, forget, might as well I give up altogether. The physical, social, and spiritual needs of the children are met by the entire community. I raise my children to respect nature, plants, love plants and animals. Okay, alien, and I was a young person, and well, I wouldn't change it for the world, and I didn't need community or elder people to teach me that, because all these ones imbued inside me with the education and values offered by the elders. Later in our dialogue, when we talk about those other cultures in the universe, we'll look at some new models for living. But these models want to work the way you have currently structured your lives. What do you mean? I mean, it's not just parenting you are doing with an effective model, but your whole way of living. Again, what do you mean? You have moved away from each other. You have torn apart your families, disassembled your smaller communities in favor of huge seats. Not everybody, not in my seat where I live, everybody knew each other. In these big cities, there are more people, but fewer tribes, groups, or clans whose members see their responsibilities, including responsibility for the whole. So, in effect, you have no elders, no armies reach in an event. Worse than moving away from your elders, you have pushed them aside, marginalized them, that's correct, taken their power away, and even resented them, that's true, and no more respect for the elders anymore. Yes, some members of your society are even resenting the seniors among you, claim that they are somehow leeching on the system, demand the benefits that the young have to pay for with ever increasing proportion of their income. That's not true. It's true, some sociologists are now predicting a generation war, with older people being blamed for requiring more and more while contributing less. And what can they do? Yet you don't gonna give them the work. There are so many more older citizens now. What with the baby boomers moving to their senior years and people living longer in general? Yet, if your elders aren't contributing, it's because you have not allowed them to correct. Now I'm with you, correct. They don't allow the other people. They don't give you chance. They think that they are garbage to be discarded. You have required them to retire from their jobs since when they could really do the company some good, and to retire from most active, meaningful participation in life, just when their participation could bring some sense to the proceedings. Not just in parenting, but in politics, economics, and even in religion, that's true, where elders at least had a toehold. You have become a youth worshipping. Oh, I thought that you also were a youth worshipping. Tell them not to have responsibility and go humping around recklessly like bunch of sluts. Become a youth worshipping, elder dismissing society. Yours has also become a singular society rather than a plural one. That is a society made up of individuals rather than groups. As you have both individualized and united your society, you have lost much of its richness and resource. Yeah. Now you are without both, with too many of you living in emotional and psychological poverty and depletion. Depletion. I'm going to ask you again, is there any way we can end this cycle? First, recognize and acknowledge that it's real. So many of you are living denial. So many of you are pretending that what's so is simply not so. You are lying to yourselves and do not want to hear the truth, much less tell it. This too we'll talk about again later when we take that look at the civilizations of high level beings or aliens, because this denial, this failure to observe and acknowledge what is so, is not an insignificant thing. And if you truly want to change things, I hope you will just allow yourself to hear me. The time has come for truth telling, plain and simple. Are you ready? I am. That's why I came to you. That's how this whole conversation began. Truth is often uncomfortable. It's only comforting to those who do not wish to ignore it. Then truth becomes not only comforting but inspiring. For me, this whole three-part dialogue has been inspiring. Please go on. There is some good reason to be upbeat, to feel optimistic. I observe that things have begun to change. There's more emphasis among your species on creating community and building extended families than ever in recent years. And more you are honoring your elders, producing meaning and value in and from their lives. This is a big step in a wonderfully useful direction. That's good. So things are turning around. Your culture seems to have taken their step. Now it is onward from there. You cannot make these changes in one day. You cannot, for instance, change your whole way of parenting, which is how this current train of thought began in one fell swoop. Yet you can change your future step by step. Reading this book is one of those steps. This dialogue will circle back over many important points before we are finished. That repetition will not be by accident. It's for emphasis. Now you have asked for ideas for the construction of your tomorrows. Let us begin by looking at your yesterdays. So that's the end of chapter 1.